So I don't want to do this. Hey guys, welcome back to, that is my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get monetized, okay? Leave me alone. So I promised that my channel wasn't going to be only heavy topics or commentary or just me ranting about things. I don't know if it's going to be reading stories or what have you, but I decided to start with reading Reddit, and my favorite is Am I the Arsehole? So that is what we are going to be doing today. I feel particularly drawn to these because as I have that autismo dog in me, I feel like I'm a very black and white person when it comes to a lot of things. So we're just going to get into it. The first one that comes up is, am I the a-hole for refusing to make my home accessible for my brother? My brother has been in a wheelchair since he was little. He's 36 now. He is amazing. He sounds amazing. He is a Paralympian. He sounds fucking amazing. He competes in triathlons. He is all around independent. He sounds completely independent to me. But okay. I already am leaning that you are the a-hole, but we'll keep reading. Whenever he comes to see me, I put him up in a hotel. It's great because my children are terrible. Why are they terrible? Are you a terrible parent? They run around screaming like banshees. Okay. They leave their stuff everywhere. My wife and I spend half our free time chasing them down or cleaning up after them. And we love them completely. They are kids. That's how they are at that age. No. I feel like I just need to keep reading because I'm already on the side of you're an asshole. They are kids. That's how they are at that age. So he gets to see them only at their best behavior when we have threatened or bribed them into it when we get together outside our home. Why are you threatening or bribing your kids to act like decent human beings? I feel like maybe we could use a little bit more context on their age, but again, I'm still leaning towards you're the asshole right off the bat. Our parents are still consumed with guilt because of how my brother became paralyzed, but I'm assuming he meant became. They have dedicated themselves to his comfort. Their house is completely wheelchair accessible, and they have a guest room with an accessible bathroom. Sounds like what parents should do for their child. My brother hasn't lived at home since he transferred college's junior year to get away from them. They are very good parents, just overbearing regarding the situation. Okay, I could kind of see that. Recently, my folks came for a visit. They brought a bunch of information about making our house accessible, including information about grants and stuff. I pointed out that I only see my brother twice a year in my city. He is always working, traveling, training, or competing. I have traveled to see him compete. My family has traveled to watch him compete. We support him a lot, but I'm not going to make permanent changes to my house and living arrangements he doesn't need. My parents are upset. They think I need to be more supportive. I think their guilt has made them delusional. I think that's all the information. Please ask if you need more. Okay. You're an asshole simply for the fact that your kids just aren't disciplined and they act like complete monsters, and you have to threaten or bribe them to get them to act okay out in public. And that's sad. So you're the asshole for that alone. I don't think you're the asshole for not wanting to change the structure of your house. But if you did want a better relationship with your brother, I'm assuming that you would need to make those changes just because your brother is in a wheelchair. Let's see what the comments have to say. The first comment says, talk to your brother. Does staying in a hotel make him feel like a second-class relative? There's your answer. OP says, my brother loves it. He gets to visit with us and go to a nice quiet room that is set up for his needs. He loves to see us, but he likes to visit his friends in our city too. And he sometimes has female companions. Privacy is better. My parents always make it awkward, according to him. Okay, then again, there's your answer. I feel like if I didn't say it before, it's not your parents' decision. If your brother enjoys staying at the hotel, then that's just the way it is. But you're still a fucking asshole for the way that you allow your kids to act. One other commenter said, then tell your parents kindly to fuck off. Thanks for your concern, but I talked with him and he's fine with it. Another commenter said, don't wreck your brother's booty calls because your mom's overbearing. Bro moved out for a reason. Plus, I'm sure he loves his nieces and nephews very much, but as someone without kids, it can be a lot to be around children in their natural habitat. Also, if your kids are fucking assholes. Anyways, case closed. You're the asshole, not for this situation, but for the way you're parenting. I'm just kidding. I don't know how they actually parent. Let's read another, shall we? This one's really short. Am I the a-hole for bringing up that our 14-year-old daughter may masturbate after we were already having the same conversation about our son doing it? So my wife and I were having a conversation about how we should add locks to the kids' doors. She said because our son is 12 and he might start masturbating soon. I said yes. Our daughter might be masturbating too, so we should put one on her door. And she said, no, she's not like that. And you shouldn't be talking about her like that. What? I was genuinely confused. I felt it was the same talking about our son masturbating as our daughter, but she said it's different. I asked for clarification on why, and she said because I'm a man. Ma'am, that's her father. She says that women don't masturbate like men and that she's never done it in her life, insinuating that our daughter won't either. I told her, just because she never has doesn't mean our daughter won't or isn't ready. Anyway, she got pretty mad at this and thinks I overstepped. Should I apologize? No. No. You're not the asshole. They're teenagers. They're feeling a lot of hormones, and masturbating is, in fact, very healthy, and it is okay if men, women, guys, gals, and non-binary pals do it in the comfort of their own home with privacy and door locks. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Ma'am, that is her father. Your wife is making it weird by saying all of that. That's projection. We don't like that. That's just, what do I know? I'm an idiot. Let's read the comments. Top one. She's never done it in her life, insinuating that her daughter won't either. Yikes. Someone replied, right? I bet she's never passed gas either. Sheesh. The next comment. You don't understand. Boys are dirty. Not the asshole, OP. Next comment. Yeah, that's a wild thing to say. Just because she didn't do something doesn't mean your daughter won't. That kind of projecting is weird and low-key limiting. Kids are their own people, not copy and paste versions of their parents. Not the asshole? No. Don't apologize to your wife, thinking your daughter somehow has less right to explore her body than your son does. Got it in one. What the Get locks for both doors, or locks on neither. Honestly, how would you explain giving your son one and not your daughter? Mom says you won't masturbate? Could you imagine? Also, have the birds and the bees talk with your children. What is going on here? Anyways, not the asshole. Don't apologize. That's weird. Your wife needs therapy. Let's read another one. Am I the asshole for flirting with another man after my husband repeatedly encouraged fantasies about me being with another man? I, 35 female, have been married to my husband, 40 male, for 11 years. No kids. Good for you. Sorry, that sounded good on you, mate, kind of thing. That's what I meant. Anyways, our marriage has generally been stable with good communication and a long-standing friendship. Over time, our sex life became routine. As it does. After a close friend of my husband divorced due to secretly going on a cheeky trip. Are you British? I feel like you're British. Do I know how to do a British accent? My husband began introducing sexual fantasies during sex about me traveling and being with other men. These fantasies were initiated by him and repeated over time. We never agreed to open the marriage or act on them. These fantasies became more frequent and explicit and were driven by him. They only came up during sex, never as a broader conversation about our relationship. I can't keep doing this. He talked about me being desired by other men, as if I fantasized about men we knew or about someone more dominant or physically different from him. He often belittled himself compared to these imagined men. When I expressed confusion, he reassured me he wouldn't be angry and that this was something he wanted. Yikes on bikes. During a work trip, a colleague expressed interest in me. I refused physical advance, but later exchanged a few flirty messages with him. There was no physical relationship, but I acknowledge this crossed a boundary. Okay. My husband found the messages, immediately left, and considers this cheating. He now wants to separate. Yikes on bikes. I accept responsibility for responding to the messages and understand why my husband is hurt. At the same time, I'm wondering whether the context of my husband repeatedly introducing these fantasies during sex matters or whether that's irrelevant. Am I the asshole for flirting, even though I never physically cheated and these fantasies were encouraged by my husband? Yikes on bikes. So, yes and no. Yes and no, you're the asshole. Okay? Here's my opinion. It's not very black and white. Your husband was trying to spice up your sex life by talking about these fantasies. That is strictly you two, but I can understand where there was no communication. Relationships are all about communication. All he was doing was talking about these fantasies of you being with other men. And he never actually expressed how he wanted to go about that, or if he actually wanted to act on it, or he just kept going on and on about them and asking you about if you ever fantasized about other men. Shit got lost in translation. So yes, you are the asshole because you didn't speak to him first about flirting with somebody else or like acting upon these fantasies that he's having. You didn't include him in that, but he's also the asshole for just kind of not being open, clear, and direct with the communication about what he was fantasizing about. I don't know. Let's read the comments. First comment. So he and you have a sexual relationship where he shares a fantasy. You act on these by flirting with a coworker and he found the messages. You didn't run it by him. You didn't include him. You did this for you. You are in the beginning stages of cheating and is trying to find a way to make it okay. You're the asshole. Did you talk about fantasies and agreed that you can explore? This is an opportunity. If no discussion about you doing that were had and there were no rules or boundaries set, then you basically cheated. And it also seems like you only assumed your husband would be okay. It seems you just went behind your husband's back. Fantasies are just fantasies, and sharing those fantasies with your spouse is not permission to pursue them. Many people have fantasies that they would still never want to fulfill. So yeah, you're the asshole. Court adjourned. That one, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, next one. This was another spicy one. Ooh, I love this for us. Am I the arsehole for proposing an open marriage since my wife isn't keen on having sex and tells me I should not divorce? Huh? Why does it sound like you're talking about a parent that says you should not get a divorce? I mean, your wife can't just tell you not to ask for a divorce if you're not. Let's read. Anyways, my wife, 47 female, and I, 48 male, have been married for well over 22 years. What does well over 22 years mean? Genuinely, I don't understand. Is it like 10 years over 22 years or a couple months over 22? Anyways, sorry. Autismo brain. Our youngest left the house 1 year ago. So it's just the two of us left. I would have expected our intimate life to get better. You're 48, she's 47. I'm going to cut that out, Jesus. I don't have a high sex drive in any sense, but once or twice a week seems reasonable to me. You're a man. Of course, you would see it like that. Anyways, we haven't had sex for approximately 8 months. Not a bit. 8 months is like a blink of an eye. What do you mean? I have spoken to my wife about this, but she usually doesn't want to do any real physical or sexual activities. She asked me for eating her out or head, but doesn't want to give, say, a BJ. I feel like, what? She asked me for eating. She does ask me to eat her out or give her that, but doesn't want to give me, doesn't want to reciprocate. We'll just say that. Throughout our marriage, it was fine, but these last few months have just consisted of this way. Oh my God. I've spoken to her multiple times in multiple instances about this, and the only thing she said so far was that she's tired or that she just doesn't feel up for it. It ruined my self-esteem. I'm getting older and I don't look the same as I did many years ago. That's how life works, my friend. I finally got fed up about this. Oh God. I was honest, and I told her that this is ruining my self-esteem and making me insecure about myself and my age and well-being, and she doesn't even care. Therapy? She told whenever everyone gets older, they don't want to have sex much anymore and just switch the subject. After so many attempts of trying to speak to her about this and her just brushing it off, I brought up divorce. She begged me not to even bring it up, that she needs me in her life, that we have been together for this long and there's no point of divorce. I told her that she can't just keep me with her with no sex and expect me to be fine with it. I finally brought up the idea of an open marriage and she immediately refused. She told me she couldn't ever see me with another woman. It was back and forth until I just gave up. I don't know if I was a horrible and messed up person for even bringing this up, but I feel miserable here. Am I the asshole for this? Yes. But let's read the comments. First one says, my ex-husband refused to have sex with me. He got mad and yelled at me if I touched myself, accused me of cheating if I watched porn, and absolutely understandably refused the idea of me having somebody else. You were in an abusive relationship. These are very different circumstances. What does this have to do with the price of tea in China? This is a very different circumstance. Basically, he made the decision for me that there would be no sex in my life whatsoever, not even any kissing or hand-holding or any kind of affection. You were in an abusive marriage. This is the number one reason that he is my ex. Turns out he had a medical issue that made him unable to, but I don't even feel guilty about that because when we were together, he refused to go to the doctor, saying it was my problem and find out if something was wrong. The problem was me and my apparent obsessive need for something so unimportant. Life is too short to live that way unless you as a couple agree on it. Give her an ultimatum. Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Don't give your partner an ultimatum. Either fuck me or we get a divorce. That's weird. Don't do that. Y'all on Reddit are weird. Give her an ultimatum and tell her that she either fix the issue. Maybe it will include a medical doctor or other such intervention or divorce, but she cannot decide for you that you have to live this way. Somebody replied, I'm sorry, but was your ex an a-hole from the start or only when he got ED? This must have been so difficult for you. It was always like this, even from the point we got married. You were what does this have to do with the price of tea in China? These comments are outrageous. At the end of the day, she has three choices. One, fix herself. Fix herself? Because she doesn't want to fuck you, bro? Stop. And get checked for hormonal levels and then follow up with individual couples counseling. 2, let you halfway out of the marriage and just open it up. Slippery slope, you might find someone that better fits you. 3, divorce. Go your separate ways. You have 2 choices. 1, accept her decision. If she doesn't make one, you live the rest of your life being resentful until you become a person she doesn't want to be around. 2, divorce. Everything else is a variation on one of those themes. She isn't making a decision at this point, so you have to. In the meantime, hit the gym, start working on you and what you want to look like when you move on. No, this is all terrible fucking advice. What are you talking about? People are allowed to just not want to have sex. What the fuck is this? And when did we all become 47? She's probably either starting or has been in menopause for a while, so sex seems like a no-go as she's not producing any estrogen. When did we all become doctors? Another comment. So you're eating her out, but you're not getting any conversations about this. She shuts down and it's her way or the highway, not the asshole. I'd bail. I could see it like that too, but this is just from the narrator that she's being asked to be eaten out, and as somebody with the same parts as this person's wife, if I'm not in the mood, I do not want to be even touched. So I think that's just the man's way of saying, oh, I do this for her, but she doesn't reciprocate. But that's just my own opinion. You absolutely are. You're not the asshole for proposing divorce. You're an asshole about how you talked about your wife and all of this. And all of the commenters talking about your wife like this are all fucking assholes. Get a divorce. If you're not happy and you still have a high sex drive, get a fucking divorce. You can go your step. It's a thing. It does happen. She will be fine. I promise you, you both will be fine. Let's read just one more. It's a little bit longer. Oh, that last one kind of messed me up. What in the ever-loving This one says, am I the a-hole for wanting a divorce after 18 days of marriage? You sound like you're a child. But anyways, it's such a crazy sentence. Okay. Am I the a-hole for wanting divorce after 18 days of marriage? And I'm pretty sure that would be called an annulment, not a divorce, but I'm not an attorney. I don't know. So I recently just got married on October 31st, and today I was supposed to transfer about 200 screenshots of my wife and her ex-husband so that we could use it in court today, as we are trying to get full custody, as the dad is unreliable as hell. My wife left her phone with me while she went to work, as I was just going to drop it off on my way to, I think he means work. Well, while attempting to get all the screenshots I came across, oh God. Well, while attempting to get all the screenshots, wow, punctuation is important, my friends. Well, while attempting to get all the screenshots, I came across some topless photos of my wife in her work outfit, definitely at work, that I did not recognize. I save all the spicy photos she sends me in a private photo folder. I double checked my folder and didn't see the same ones. Well, this is where I could be considered an asshole. I then had some suspicions that she had sent it to her ex, so I snooped through her texts with him. They were together for 10-ish years, and I've never trusted him. I did indeed find them from back in June. So I took some photos of their conversations and waited till court was over to confront her. She claims that she did in fact have sex with him when we were on a small break, but the photos were sent 17 days after we had officially been together and applied for a marriage certificate through the courts. Bro, you were doomed from the beginning. You were on a small break, but the photos were sent 17 days after we had officially been together and had applied for a marriage certificate through the courts. Yikes on bikes. We had chosen a date, and to be honest, I don't recall us being on a break when she claims it happened. How many times have you been on a break? I don't know. I feel like I'm an asshole because I obviously want a divorce, as I can't trust her. We don't have any kids or anything together, and I had just taken on the fatherly role for her 3 kids, and I have grown very fond of them. How long have you guys been together? I told her I would pay my half of rent until she gets her taxes, mostly because she can't afford the apartment on her own, and I don't want the kids to be on the street or in a hotel. I also told her I would pay for the electric and internet too, since they are in my name. But she keeps begging me not to let our marriage die, and she knows I don't care about what she says about it because I've always been actions speak better than words do. I just feel like crap. I never would have seen this coming, and I thought this was my one and only. Am I the arsehole? You married somebody that you don't know. We have an edit. I just wanted to say thank you for all the comments, and I also wanted to clarify some things I'd seen in the comments. I realize now that it wasn't super clear, and I was rather emotional last night. When I said break, what I meant was we had gotten into a pretty big fight, and we were already in talks of getting married before that. When we got into the fight, we had decided we wanted to take, I think it was like a week or so apart, to figure out if this is what we truly wanted and wanted to continue with. We came back together and decided that despite the fact we had gotten into, we wanted to proceed, and then filed to have our ceremony held at the courthouse. I understand that for some, taking a break like that would be evidence enough to just split, but I have been in love with her since we were kids, some 14 years or so. I am going to proceed with the divorce. I keep saying annulment, but from the lawyer I've talked to, it can be extremely hard to get an annulment due to my only argument being fraud, and that I don't have proof she intentionally hid it. He stated that in Oregon, where we live, it would be much easier and faster to get a divorce, especially since the kids are not mine and we don't have any large assets to dispute over. So this is likely the route I will be going down. I'm going to help her with rent and electric while I live with a friend. I feel that this is the right thing to do because despite what she has done, I still have love for her, and the kids don't deserve to be homeless because their mom is a mess. I told her she has until she gets her taxes, as she gets a lot back having 3 kids. And after that, she's on her own. Thank you again, Reddit. The very first comment is, that's an annulment, not a divorce. It's much cheaper. Good luck. No, you're not the a-hole. You just made a stupid decision. You made a very stupid decision. If you are questioning your marriage, take it from somebody who knows. If you are questioning a life decision like a marriage with somebody, literally right before you apply for the marriage certificate, before you have your ceremony or what have you, you probably shouldn't be marrying that person, okay? I just remembered I have CPR class today. that I have to go to. It's fine. Let's read another one that has an update. All right. One more. Let's read another divorce one. Am I the a-hole for wanting a divorce? On theme, on brand. I, 24 female, have been married for 5 years to 25 male. No, right off the bat, you are not an a-hole. You got married when you were 19. Let's keep reading. We started exploring a lot in the bedroom in the past year. Mostly all of it was suggested by Nick. Nick brought up different ideas like allowing a third party to join us in the bedroom / using toys. I was originally against the idea, but Nick would constantly bring it up, so I gave in. The person invited was a male, so it wasn't him wanting another woman. It was never an open relationship, but just a handful of three-ways with another man. I always jokingly told Nick I would do certain acts to him in the back door. I never thought he would agree, since Nick was always straight and confirmed that he indeed was secure in his sexuality as a straight man. Nick recently opened up about wanting to do backdoor activities, but me doing them to him. I was shocked as well as curious, so we went ahead and tried one thing. We talked about it and then later went to bed. The next day, Nick confessed to me that he is not straight but bisexual. Round of applause to Nick. Still not the asshole, I don't think. I have to keep reading because I feel like this could take a very dark turn very quickly. The next day, Nick confessed to me that he is not straight but bisexual, that he has desires to explore with men but ultimately loves me. I told him the truth, that I wasn't aware that he was that way until now. Obviously you didn't know because you just know. Anyways, now I may be the a-hole for what I did next, but I told Nick that I love and support him, that I can't, oh God, but that I couldn't be the one to hold his hand as he got railed by another man. Oh my God. I view him in totally different light now. We had discussed sexuality before, and I was honest about not wanting to ever be with a man who was into other men. Nick told me he loves me and told me not to out him, which I will not, but I told him that I couldn't be with him knowing he's wanting to be with a man instead. He threw different ideas at me, suggesting that he could just mess around with a man but never go all the way, or I use various methods on him to satisfy his desire. I do love him, and I do want to support him on his new journey, but I cannot be with him knowing this, since I knew he would probably bring it up until I gave in. He's done this before, where we don't agree on something, and he will be upset or keep bringing a certain topic up until I give in. He did that with a three-way idea. He would promise me to stop bringing it up, but never did. He wore me down until I gave in, and I just feel like he will do it again. I don't want him to resent me, and I don't want to be selfish and stay with him and force him to be someone he's not. He's been very sad, and I've just been crying. There is no going back to normal since my perception of him has changed. For years, he has lied to me. Okay, that statement, you're the fucking asshole. He didn't fucking lie to you. You were 20 and 19 when you got married. Let me tell you something, girl. Little fucking girl. Okay, the world is not very accepting of bi men, gay men, any sort of gender non-conforming or sexuality conforming human beings. And so no, he didn't fucking lie to you. He probably didn't know himself. Fuck you for that. You are the asshole for that sentence alone. But no, you are not the asshole for wanting a divorce. However, you can be in a happy monogamous relationship if you are bisexual with the opposite sex. You can be. There's no, I need to explore with other men. But clearly you are not meant for each other because he's still trying to explore this part of his sexuality. And you may love each other, but I don't think it's much as you both think that you do. I think you got married very young and you're trying to make it work because you got married so young and you have this weird thing that marriage is forever and you absolutely cannot get divorced. But clearly you two are not right for each other. Top comment says, pan/bi person here. You can absolutely be bi and not sleep with other people if you're married and monogamous. For fuck's sake. I hate this whole BS about I have to explore with other people. Like, no, you don't. Are you sexually attracted to both? Do you masturbate to both? Congrats, you're bi. You absolutely do not need to sleep with other people to figure that out. That's being a fuckboy. It's this toxic nonsense that gives bi-pan folk a promiscuous reputation, and it really freaking sucks. If a straight person suddenly said, I think I'm sexually attracted to a wildly different body type than my current partner, I need to explore this side of myself. You'd look at them like they were being an idiot. People like that don't need to explore their sexual identity. They know what it is, and they wouldn't be feeling how they're feeling. They want to explore their sexual fantasies. Those two things are similar, but not this. I feel like if you're just discovering it, we're going back to what does this have to do with the price of tea in China? Because your situation is completely different. You've known your identity since before you got engaged. You've known who you were, and you probably have a very healthy relationship with open communication, and you've had time to kind of explore your own sexuality and things like that before your partner and with your partner. So what does this have to do with the price of tea in China? This is a very different situation. He's just kind of discovered this about himself. He's 25. They got married when he was 20. He's a baby. They're both babies. All right. Maybe I just don't see it that way. But we do have an update. Let's read the update. We are taking a break for a few weeks while I clear my head because his I can't say that word. Because his revelation was just a lot for me. I'm still just struggling to understand how we got here. I love this man with everything. He wasn't my first, but he was my first in a lot of things. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? We've discussed further his sexuality, and he's just very confused, apparently. The more he thought about it, the more he realized he wasn't into being with a man, but ultimately was curious. I told him if he wanted to explore, he could, and I wouldn't be mad if that was the path he was willing to take alone. Ultimately, he admitted that he wants to try more things in the bedroom surrounding his back door, and I hesitated, but agreed. We agreed that we would explore whatever he meant, but just as a couple. I also gave him the ultimatum, and with the courage of a lot of your comments, to stop pushing for the openness in our bedroom. No more third parties ever. Good on you, Queen. As I mentioned in my original post, he was into the idea of sharing me with another man, and I never wanted to. I won't lie and say I didn't enjoy the few times we had three-ways, but I always felt very ashamed and embarrassed, guilty, and just plain horrible after each encounter. You don't have to be ashamed of it. That's sad. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it, babes. You're 24. Oh my God. It sucks that you felt ashamed and embarrassed, but that's nothing to be ashamed about. You're 24, babe. Like, clearly you both have a lot to think about as far as your sexual preferences go. I would tell him these things, and he blamed my religious parents, but I would tell him no, since I did not grow up in a church and parents recently converted, so his claims have no solid foundation. Okay. I mean, yeah, he shouldn't blame your religious past. I mean, you just feel shame and embarrassment because you enjoyed something taboo. He got a bit upset about my decision, but I'm ultimately happy because I've wanted to put an end to that for months. Wish me luck, Reddit. This will most likely be the only and last update. I will be logging out after, since this is a throwaway. Maybe if everything goes to hell, I'll be back. Top comment. Be realistic. This really is not a healthy marriage and never has been. Coercion is not consent. Exactly. Wearing someone down until they do a sex act they don't want to is not someone consenting. That is why you felt so awful after. It was not something you wanted. Love is respect, and he does not have that for you. Honestly, I'm not sure why you trust him at all to not go behind your back with men, since he has made it clear that his wants come first. Nor why you are buying this I'm just curious turn he has taken. He's saying what you want to hear because he does not want a divorce. This is the same guy that tried to manipulate you into believing your parents' recent conversion somehow influenced your childhood. He's not a good guy. I hope OP reads this. Choosing yourself is never wrong. In any couple, the key for everything is both are heading in the same direction. And most important point is that there is consent and they are comfortable with whatever they do and not the asshole. Again, it sounds like you both have very different ideas and different things you need to explore. You got married very young and you didn't have time to kind of explore that, and that's okay. And getting a divorce is okay. That is the last one I'm going to read. That one made my brain hurt. Punctuation is your friend, people. That's all I've got. Wow, what a wild ride. If you made it through this entire video, thank you so much for watching. I might do more videos like this. And if you're going to comment on my attire and say, Juice, you live in Arizona where it's a desert and it's hot as hell. Why are you wearing a hoodie and a sweatshirt? That is because I have a little AC unit over there and it is set to 60 degrees and I have no pants on, but leave me alone. Anyways, I love you so, so much. I hope you're having a great day or night wherever the F you're at in the world, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Make your choices, be nice, be kind, be gentle, and you will be seeing me in my next video. Okay, bye.